No,
change it?
it's I received I think something like this uh, from Julian at one point. I will show you. Uh, it's a nice meme around it. This little guy with "I am fine," in the fire, and this Julian sent me at that time when we had I don't know how many bugs in the in the battle of nodes, and it was like I am fine, and everything was fire around us. Fun times ahead.
Is that how it feels right now? I wonder if we're already live on the YouTube and the Twitter, because
I
then
don't
that
know
would
because
just
Twitter was not working a few minutes ago.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll see. Let me check. Oh, maybe Titel, you can tell us if we're already live, because then we'll just welcome people and
It shows that we are live and we have uh, 37 viewers.
amazing. Going well. Let's bring up Lucian as well. See him in the crowd. Julian, what a legend in the audience. Um, okay. Well, let's get started. Hello, everybody. This is a new format. This is the Foundry Forum. Um, the purpose, and I'll lay it out as clearly as possible, is really just to get, yeah, more input, more thoughts, and suggestions from the community. We'll keep this to about 2 hours. This is similar to like a public hearing, right? This is not going to be a place where there's going to be a big back and forth or debate. We're just going to listen. Sometimes maybe there's a comment for clarification or something, but in general, it's just going to be about listening to what everybody has to say. Of course, there's the validators, there's the builders, there's the investors, there's different stakeholders. So want to hear from everyone and make sure that everybody's actually heard. Before we get into that, I just want to give a quick recap, and then also Robert will kind of give us an overview of where we're standing at the moment in this process. But on Thursday, so today is Tuesday. On Thursday, the context was set. Benjamin had the first US Foundry session, sort of explaining a little bit more about the background. On Friday, there was the economics draft proposal actually shared for the first time, team walkthrough. There was an AMA, added some more context over the weekend. We had two interesting community town halls, gathered some feedback there. Yesterday started localizing the content a little bit. So there was a stream with in Romanian, and then another stream later already, giving some heads up on some changes that are already being implemented on the proposal based on the feedback we've gotten so far. Robert will give more on that. So today, yeah, like I said, purpose is to get more of this feedback, more of these ideas, start working them into the proposal. And then tomorrow, today is about more of the listening part. Tomorrow is about actually the implementation part. And I don't know if I can share the schedule here in some image, or somebody maybe can share it in the chat. But we'll basically go section by section and implement and debate. Come with the changes that you'd like to see, and then we'll see if and how they can be implemented in practice. Go with each section separately. Tomorrow we'll do two. On Thursday we'll do two, and on Friday hopefully there will be some kind of preliminary conclusion on the process. Then another 2 days of sort of thinking it all through, and on Monday aiming to have a last debate on this proposal, and then get that to a place where it can actually be ratified and voted on, hopefully by Wednesday. Now, again, we'll see how this goes. This is a genuine and real experiment that has never been done in this space before. It's been extremely enlightening, I think, so far, and very exciting and rewarding, and exhausting. um, but it's a marathon, and we'll continue doing this and continue implementing the changes and get ideas, which is again what this is all about. So before we move on, and I'll explain that after Robert is done, how we're doing this in practice, to the public comment section, I'll invite Robert to just give us an overview of where we stand right now, what suggestions, feedback we've gotten, and where that can possibly already be implemented. And then we'll kick it over to all of you guys who want to also contribute their ideas. Robert, over to you.
Okay, thank you. So we had a bunch of hard days and hard discussions, which is great. And then there were a few major points in which the community wanted to understand more and to clarify more. And the biggest point, I think, was the tail inflation model. And another big point was the burn model around the transactions. Let's to call it out the two biggest ones. And we are still working on framing it correctly, the demand-driven emission model, which is actually will go down in a time frame, and depending on the growth engine, it will go down in a fast or a slow way towards a much stable number, somewhere between 2 and 5%, 3 and 5%, as all economics show. And we are going to introduce more and more burn ways, burn things, just to curve the emitted tokens and to curve down the scarcity of the token. So in general, one of the point, like, people, let's say, understood, or they still have a fear, is about the goal of each of the buckets. And then we have the goal for the staking rewards is pretty simple. It is to maximize network security, ensure attraction of new capital, and we actually want all the capital to flow into stake or liquid stake in such a way that the capital remaining on the markets shrinks down. And that's totally normal to do it. Why would you want to have a bunch of eagles on exchanges? Let's have it on chain and use it. The builder rewards bucket, which is right now it's set at 20%. The goal of this is to maximize network revenue and usage by offering some intention KPIs for growth credits to builders, and creating, like how we do it with the growth games. Those credits are not giving out all of them, but every such of a builder has to get into milestones, and those tokens can be locked for the milestones. And when those milestones are reached, but only then they are released. So that is a process in which we can ensure that those tokens, not we as the foundation, we and the ecosystem growth fund, DAO together, to ensure that every single token which enters from those buckets is used. On the third point, on the DeFi growth fund, it is the goal of it is to maximize the usage and the velocity of the capital within the network, and to ensure metrics such as TVL, stablecoin liquidity, and volumes. These are really important. Whether we look into the market and we look at the any kind of blockchain, we evaluate those blockchains whether they have these numbers quite high. We love to see these numbers quite high, and actually we love to see those numbers if they are not gamed. So again, how these things are gamed or not gamed, that's a thing which will be defined clearly. Another point to add on this, because people, let's say, they have a fear that secondary DeFi um, would create too much too much friction or too much safety issue. We have to look back, and everybody from Ethereum onwards pushed on DeFi, and all L1s have invested and put tokens into DeFi economics, from Consensus to MakerDAO to Uniswap to Compound to everything out there, to Solana on Pump.fun to Sui on everything. On Sui, they are using liquid stake tokens for all of the pools. And these are models, there are some risks, but for all of those risks, you can have a solution. So anything on the DeFi growth fund, if if he wants to be whitelisted, let's say a DeFi protocol, a liquid staking protocol, or anything, it has to be open sourced, audited, contracts to be upgradable only through a DAO, and on that DAO they need multiple members out from the team in order to ensure safety, and a bunch of other, let's say, KPIs can add it to this. What I want to say is that if we create together with the community these KPIs, nice. Imagine that there will be a competition towards creating those strategies, creating those DeFi applications in such a way that each every investor on the chain and each every user on the chain enjoys it. Because when there is a competition with set limits, they will create better applications, which in the end you enjoy it as a user. Um, so I think those were some of the points in which we are going to address. And again, getting this document out about the how we drive down the inflation. Yesterday I showed you a quite crazy Rome-like presentations with some initial numbers which were reformulated. But again, are some of them are workable, and we could actually evaluate through growth how much of the inflation can be eaten up, and if it cannot be eaten up, it can be locked for a longer period of time, reused later or burned later, just to see and to get the downward and the upward trends in order to fuel the economics. Whether we like it or not, we have to fuel the economics in general. So I think these are the main points, and then I don't think that I should make any presentations today, as we had it yesterday, and then the people are waiting for the final document, which needs 2 or 3 more reviews internally, and then it will get out, because there are a bunch of numbers and a big set of Excels. So it is okay to have everything checked and rechecked before reaching it out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think important to understand how this process works internally. There is, of course, when there is a suggestion made that is good that should be implemented, there is an internal review of the implementation and the implications of this. And so, yeah, take take it with some patience here. That is needed. Okay. We also have Benjamin and Lucian here with us. So just want to let you say hi, and then we'll move on to the official proceedings. What's up? How are the trenches?
Hey, how's it going? Excited to be again live and excited for another series of conversations. I think indeed the audience here or the setup is one that I personally miss, especially validators. This is the group that uh, was my home for many many years, and it still is. But I was the one saying with GM every morning and waking everybody up and asking to kindly update their binaries of the nodes. So yeah, I think Yeah. Oh,
Maybe you
okay.
can get back in that mode with the Battle of Nodes that we've
Yeah.
announced there,
Oh,
huh?
okay. I need to switch to. Got it. Let me see. Better now?
Wow.
That was better, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Mike, check.
Benjamin, welcome to the stage. How are you holding up?
Good. I was just writing that on Discord, I always enter with different usernames and always with the wrong username. So I don't even know who I am on Discord, but it's great to be here and see that people are joining. I'm almost wondering if this is not a supply constraint to the conversation. It's definitely a great filter. Whoever goes through the process of joining on Discord is hardcore. They want to be there, want to contribute value. So appreciate everyone, every one of you being here. And this is a super interesting experiment. Also, as Robert was pointing out, there's you can see now the entire process happening as we speak, and for every document like this one, it's like writing code. You commit some code, there are some pull requests open, there's some reviews on the pull requests, and they're merged so that as you go with something out, you make sure that it's the main branch, it's the correct branch, and nothing breaks in the meantime, and you're having some more conversations. So great to have everyone here, and very curious actually to hear some thoughts and feedback and so on.
Amazing.
I'll just maybe just take over and then want to set the mood a bit of the way I look at things. And I think it's one interesting perspective that I might have said it in previous sessions, but also I think it's very good, especially for validators and builders. And I've been thinking and reflecting a bit what a growth configuration, a growth setup would mean in the practical sense. So imagine with me just going for a thought process or a thought experiment that we have two setups, two data centers. Both of them are AWS data centers that are up and running, fully configured, ready to serve the world. That on both states we have 2 years. 2 years that where we want to maximize growth. One is of course an investment, a setup where we can for the T1, for example, which is a near, we can particularly define different strategies of growth for usage to drive up the usage of that compute that we already have, and it's assuming that it's already covered, so to say. It's either way paid. But then on the year 2, we want to make sure that by any mean the one strategy wins and generates a lot of demand and has generates a way higher chances of driving up compute demand or usage on that particular data center. And now if I would have to put two strategies on the one hand, so again repeating, both of them are covered and we have, so to say, already prepaid, and the servers will be up and running. Now in one sense, in a one strategy, which is pretty much the state where we are right now, we tend to believe, or we try to believe, or tried by any means to incentivize, but incentivize in a sense that just communicating and not giving what is the sucker or the most important value thing for those future users, which are credits to be spent in this data center. So if I look, for example, just to restate again, on the one hand, we just wait and do the general growth where we expect that every customer will always just pay and gradually increase the demand over a year. But that's, again, just one way of growing. Now, assuming that on the second data center, both of them have already covered all the costs, so to say, for the basic operation. then if we look at how AWS or most of the cloud infrastructure providers operate, or any kind of enterprise service works today, they do offer and take specific bets on certain programs, through certain programs, where they decide to incentivize and subsidize, for example, the fees or the compute for those particular businesses or future businesses, where they see that if those will become or achieve product market fit, they will become dependent and sustainable and have a way higher chance of stickiness, that in the year two, the resources will become self-sustained. There will be demand and there will be growth. Now, particularly to that case, I'm wondering if we are literally, if the economics or economics design, or I think where generally speaking, fundamental blockchains tend to have I think a problem on that, is that on the one hand, we are putting in circulation some sort of credits that are designed ideally to be spent back in the system, but for whatever reason we don't manage to define and create the programs where those coins guaranteed, and through a guaranteed process, they will be able to be only spent with the system, with that within the data center or within that set of services. Now, imagine that. Why do we think that Amazon credits are not allowed to be sell on eBay? Just to, like, why do those kind of stuff? Why don't those all other programs, from which are very similar to what we are doing here, don't have an option where you can literally go? Of course, you might share your account with a friend, but then even your friend will be only limited, or create a sub account for a friend, or a Netflix sub account, or whatever this is. But even that one will still be able to spend the credits from that main account within that subset of services provided. Now, if we look at this, if we have the chance to redefine growth, especially from validators and builders perspective, what I wish for us is literally to have the right approach, where we, in 12 months from now, we have put the bets on and gave all the chances to the most ambitious with the founders, or the most ambitious projects, to grow and literally drive growth, and not focus particularly on this small part. Now, this together with, I would think, and just closing then the loop, this together with the 90% reward collection for developers, I think those together are the most aligned way, in the sense where if you first develop and bring value, and you have the users, we are literally here to serve you and serve the users, and make sure that those users have the best experience, and you as a builder have the best experience. This ultimately will be subsidized, or can have an activation program similar to credits, so to say, which those transaction fees are offset or covered, where you, by doing growth and actually by adding meaningful value to the ecosystem, you ultimately also benefit from this. And just stopping a bit and just again presenting, this is one, I think, specifically growth engineering method that has already proven to work in many other sectors. If I look at other blockchains, that ones that are, again, we look upwards, I think this is also very deep engineered into a few of them that is not obvious from the outside. But again, just an invitation a bit to guide a bit the discussion, and pausing myself. Just wanted to set the right mood for validators. We care about block space, we care about rewards, we care about inflation, we care about all that stuff. But this also has and needs to drive and be focused around usage, which is the elephant in the room. Pausing here, Benjamin maybe or Lucas.
Yeah,
I extended. Yeah, I use
I
my
think
my minute for the next 2 hours. I will just remain muted.
I think we'll toss it over to the audience, and I'll remind everybody. We actually had a conversation about how to best do this, and there is a case to be made to do this: validators, then builders, then investors, all separately. But as I was just saying before, this is actually a complicated economic system where all three of these parties need to find a way to kind of work together. We all want what's best for us, but what's best for us is actually what's best for everyone else as well. This is a dynamic ecosystem. And yeah, so let me just explain the rules. Anybody who wants to come up on stage and grab the mic from the audience, please feel free to request now. And I'll just outline how this is going to work. Each speaker to share feedback, ideas, suggestions. We'll have this fun timer account on here show you the time. As we're trying to limit this to about 2 hours, the first speakers will have 3 minutes, and if we're running short on time, we might even reduce that to 2 minutes. But for now, basically, you have 3 minutes. It's not going to be like a Q&A. It's presenting suggestions, it's presenting feedback. If there's any clarifications needed, maybe we'll do an intervention, but really the idea is to just listen and have you share your thoughts, and then have as many people as possible be able to come up here, share their thoughts, have some feedback, and then we'll go to the real debate stage and the real implementation stage, section by section, tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and we'll have hopefully ample time for each of the proposals, or the sections of the proposals. So I do see Lucide here down there. Thank you for being the brave first one. Please let us know what you want to say, and we'll start the timer.
Hey, I think it's gonna be less than 3 minutes, but I didn't have the chance to talk too much in Xalience internally. So first of all, before even I start, respect for you guys. You know how respect I am to you. Like you spend so much, like so many hours on this, and you listen to the feedback. So I think it's going to the right way, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, I wanted to say this before saying my feedback. And I think the approach is very good. I like that. I don't think I understand the concern from the user from the inflation. The only thing I would like to highlight is actually, I think also it mentioned in the chat, is regarding the percentage you give to the builder. I'm talking about on the Web2 world, because I'm a Shopify app developer. Most of the developer of apps, they don't get revenue based on the protocol, because if there is a lot of liquidity in the system, they're gonna get a piece of a pie already. So I think I feel that this part is a bit too high, 90%, and to also solve of the one of the things that people complain, the dilution, we're gonna be impacted. As mentioned, we maybe need to find some strategy where basically EGLD, when you hold, even if you don't stake, you get like a share of the protocol revenue somehow. So I would like to change the thing, like builder gonna win because they create app where there is a lot of user activity on chain and a lot of liquidity. They're gonna get a piece of the cake, and then for the rest is more how we can reward the user, so they're not gonna be, we're gonna have so much inflation. But yeah, EGLD has meaning, because if I hold it and I believe in the protocol and I believe in the system and I see it growing, I'm gonna get more and more revenue. That's what I wanted to say. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Curious.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Maybe in the 30 seconds, just one question, follow-up question. Do you think that for the first year, you would rather have a higher return that you attract the builders and then decrease that amount as the demand and that there's enough demand for the block space?
I understand where you're going to, but you know this space. There's so many people. They're just gonna like build just random apps. They're just gonna come and grab the money and go. There is many ways to fake it. So I'm just afraid, even if we do it only during the first year, it could help to bootstrap. I agree, but also we need to take into consideration how we consider it they are legitimate builder. How can we make sure that this 90% go to the right builder as well?
I just wanted to add one thing here, as Lucian said about the credits. Would you we went over the 3 minutes, but again, if we think about this like
On
AVS credits, EGLD credits, it can be used in only from relayer and to relay transactions. Would that be maybe a solution for that? Or anyway, for tomorrow we can think about this, but just to take in mind, and then tomorrow when those sections will go, we can discuss about these things.
Sure. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks so much,
Appreciate it.
Lucid. I'm adding Joachim. How are you?
Whoa,
Joachim,
whoa.
maybe one thing to also do as a productive thing, maybe if you want to say, I'm a developer, or I come from this corner, and this is sort of what I'm speaking to, or the experience I'm speaking from. That might be a helpful introduction. Of course, I will introduce Joachim now, so he doesn't, so he gets to keep the 3 minutes of time. Joachim is a developer, one of the greatest contributors to X Alliance, and also the founder of Galpo Labs that does on-chain tracking and supply chain transparency. So welcome to the stage, Joachim, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Great format. I actually think that Discord is kind of better for this format than Twitter or X. So I really appreciate it. As we've said, this proposal is massive. There's a lot of different points, but I just wanted to jump quickly on what I think it was Lucien who just said that minutes ago about the relayer part. I actually think that credits through relayer is a much more productive way of motivate builders, because you're removing the fact that they have to pay for the users without this phase, because we say 90% for builders, but that's not entirely real, right? It's 90% for the smart contract, no matter who deployed it, etc. So actually, and we had building blocks, which I think was up to $2,000 a month in transaction fees. So I think this pushed to a bigger standard, and kind of like as a part of a welcome package during a certain amount of time to any builder, saying you don't have to worry about transactions, would be a very big step forward. And in addition to tracking, we do account abstraction for us, but I think for everyone, it would actually be very beneficial to bring more and more users to the chain through different use cases that don't require the user to have to top up EGLD and therefore have things for gas fees. So yeah, that was kind of my point.
Awesome. Maybe we do allow the 3 minutes to have a little back and forth. We're experimenting with this format. Bear with us. Lucien, it looks like you wanted to say
Yes,
something?
I very much agree that the relayers, and also I want to have the problem, and I think it's a good problem to have, that users literally are wasting their actions on chain. There are so many users that they just spend too much time on chain, and we don't know what to do with them, and so forth. So again, through relayers, again, I think it's extremely good, and I think with the relayer v3 version, it comes even closer and very optimized on that. Again, and all happy actually to have even more on point discussion as we come closer to this, to the criteria of eligibility of a relayer service. I think there should be maybe even with X Alliance a service that has actually through the DAO actually a version where there's some sort of meaningful contribution on chain, And then there's also some, since Joachim has, from what I understand, a lot of in understanding on traceability and stuff. I mean, there could be some very good analytics made to make sure that this goes the right way very easily.
Yeah, and just to jump very quickly on that, I actually think that is one of the things Ronin did at the very early days, which was quite wise. You had like 10 daily free transactions on the main wallet, which again, just for onboarding to get people, that's it.
Let's
Thank
do
you
that
very
again.
much.
Let's do that again. I mean, as simple as that.
Thanks a lot. Great feedback.
Great.
I see Adrian accepted my invite to speak. Adrian, longtime validator on the network. The stage is yours, Adrian.
Hello, everybody. So regarding also to the validator, let's say so, in this time, it's actually really cheap to run a validator, and the cost for the servers and everything else, it's quite cheap. And if you have a reward system like for developers and also for validators, it's actually quite good because this incentivizes everybody to use the network, and actually not just taking the EGLD, and when you have also DeFi strategies, and you can actually get rewarded a lot more and use that EGLD. Not, I think if you just let money there and they do one thing, it's actually not good. We must have like on chain activity, and this is great. That's it.
Awesome. Always great to hear when the suggestions actually land, especially with the people that they're supposed to land with. Not sure if anybody quickly wants to respond, or we'll just kick it over to Jose.
Hello everyone. Can you listen me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I have
See.
yeah. Thank you. Something that I think it's important actually is to reward users to bring stablecoins. We spoke a lot about that fact, but it needs to be really synchronized with the implementation of new bridges. I mean, that's crucial, you know. If we put in a platform like any lending platform like Shosno or Hatom, or I know Proteo is building also in DevNet lending protocol. If we put some kind of reward to users from the foundation, it's really important that we can bring new users from other ecosystems. So bridges will be needed actually.
Do you have any concrete suggestions on how an implementation could look like?
The suggestion is the timing. You know, I think it's crucial to do like a proper timing for that, to don't waste the resources that we will have. You know, you want these rails to be in place before you start encouraging people to bring stable coins. That's the suggestion. You know, the timing.
Fully agree. Timing market-wise and also operation-wise internally. I think there's both timing and and well-orchestrated stuff. Just to build on top of that, Jose, first, thanks a lot for joining. Jose, for everybody, just to remind, Jose was one of the guys from pre-Genesis, literally the became validator and stood the test of time on many fronts. So big up, Jose. And happy to see you alive and kicking. Now on the bridge side, again, I'm not sure if this is the right context, but would love it. I think maybe hopefully to provide a bit more context on how much effort has been put also with the other or the most relevant bridges providers, and I hope there's some good progress to be shared. However, things are not that easy in practice, especially when it comes to deploying this. But we're just to rephrase, fully aligned on the timing side.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Lucian.
Thanks so much, Jose. Happy to welcome Adrien from Shelters to the stage, building infrastructure, well, RWA services for the real world. Very exciting to see.
Before
Welcome.
it was cool, and now
Before
also
it was
when it's cool.
What's up, Adrian? And the stage is yours.
Hi everyone, I hope you hear me well because my Discord just crashed on my computer, so I'm on my phone right now. But yeah, I think one of the main topic to me is the subsidy about the fees for the developer. I think as a developer, we have to be careful on how we allocate the fund. To me, 90% is too much. Like we already talked about on the Agora and in the different calling we already had with the community. I think, yeah, like I said, 90% is too much. And a lot of the stress from the community goes from the inflation. We all, I think, agree about the fact that we need to get out of the stagflation that we are in at the moment. But we have to be careful on how we create this new inflation and where she come from and where she ends, I think. And why not 10% for the first year? I mean, why not? But we have to be very careful on how long it stay up like that and how we can mitigate the inflation. And to me, the best way to mitigate the inflation is by the usage of the network. If the network usage go high, we can decrease the fact that we are burning so much token. But if the usage go low, we have to be careful on the inflation because it will cost for everyone. At the end of the day, if we manage to put the inflation in the right pocket with right incentive for developer, for user to interact with platform, to incentivize developers to, like you said, use relay transaction and so on, that's real credit, that's real usage for me, and that's great. But yeah, we have to be very, very careful because once it's live, once it's ready, it can goes wrong. And one more thing, I look really forward to have the documentation because as of today, we are talking about some presentation did by Robert yesterday. But as an engineer, I look really forward to have the right numbers, the mathematics behind it, and try to think, to process everything. I think it's again too early to have my right feedback because I'm not sure on how the mathematics are working at the moment, and I really want to see how what was the thinking behind it. I think I have the main ideas, but still looking forward to have access to this. And for the last 20 seconds, one more thing. I think about the DAO. The DAO, yes, we have to be as well really careful on how the funds are used because it can be corrupt very easily. We are at a very young age for that kind of thinking from process. And yeah, I think we have to put some KPIs, to have some dashboard, to be able to process the voting power as the best as possible. So yeah, thank you for hearing me and looking forward for the documentation.
Thanks a lot. I know this is already in the works. I've seen some numbers and even like a nice little app or tool where you can adjust them and play with them. Again, just to reiterate, every time the team is trying to implement something on this front, it goes, of course, through an internal team review as well. Robert already mentioned the mechanism sort of as a broad overview to curb inflation down the road, and also there are some very smart, I think, mechanisms that have been surfaced by the community. So if you want to come with your own suggestions, by all means. But yeah, definitely putting out all the numbers that are possible to put out as soon as possible. Benjamin, see you unmuted. Not sure if you wanted, or Lucian, if you wanted to add anything. Otherwise, we'll move on to Pet Detective.
Yeah. Yes. So look, one thing that I want to stress about is I don't think the opportunity window will be open for more L1s longer than a year to the year to come. If we don't conquer the world and manage the right to drive up literally all the numbers needed, all the developers, and gather the growth. Growth is the factor that will literally argue anything else. And especially when it comes to builders and fees, I think the amount, or on the one hand, I fully agree that I it's almost counterintuitive and challenging to reason about 90%. But the if I look at the window, opportunity window, that and the what we want to achieve, and in the time that we want to achieve, this literally puts a headline and makes, if you have the users, and if you have if you have the users, and if you have an application that works and is not dependent necessarily from any other primitives that you cannot find on MultiversX, and you can migrate here, easily said, you can migrate here to MultiversX. For that, I think this is a very easy win for everybody to migrate, and you can do the math on yourself prior to the migration if there's an opportunity window for you to literally migrate and drive growth to this ecosystem, while instead of driving growth somewhere else. This is again a very, very bold approach that I'm seeing, and I'm almost I would bet rather in a full force for the for the next year than a pessimistic approach where we'll see if some developers will come. I don't want to gamble on that. Benjamin.
I would just say on the almost speaking French, as in putting it a bit philosophical. There's 2 points here. Extraordinary results require extraordinary measures, and this kind of window of opportunity compels us to actually move, make action, and have the relevant conversation, whatever it takes. And whatever it takes is more like we're having now progress on Supernova, we're having progress on economics, and we're trying to have the conversations every day. And this is a kind of mental hell for a few days, but it's very necessary because we want to hear the feedback from the community, from you guys. We also want to make progress on Supernova, and we also want to make progress on the economics. So it's a trilemma that we cannot decide on 2 out of 3. We must have all the 3, and this is why we're sort of having these conversations. And then if we were to err on one side, at least for the next period, we want to err on the side of ambition, to actually have some goals that are clear, to attract builders, to ground them in this mental model of credits and so on, hold everyone accountable, but actually make progress and move really fast, because you'll be surprised in 1-2 weeks, once the momentum builds up and people wake up, how important it was that in these weeks where people were not yet fully realizing that the market is booming or preparing to boom, how important it was that we actually put these things in place, that we had the conversations together and prepared the things. Other than that, we are very much aligned on looking at the numbers, procedurally looking at the processes, making sure that we've refined the objectives and so on, because without that, all the conversation is just a good conversation. So appreciate the thoughts, and it's great to hear the perspective.
There's the French definition for that. It's called tour de force.
This is it. And it's not the first time we're trying to solve trilemmas. So Godspeed to all of us. Thank you so much, Adrian. Pet
Thank you.
Detective, it's your turn. Maybe say a word about yourself because I'm not familiar, so I can't introduce you.
Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. So I don't know what you want I say exactly, but I am Pet Detective. I am on a MultiversX from some years already. I just do staking. I am developer, but I didn't develop anything yet about on MultiversX. But I am interested about this, of course. So thank you to giving me the mic. I would like to say exactly why I came into the MultiversX. And one of the big thing was the supply, the max supply. And really, I don't know where I stand now today about this thing, because I know some people are okay if you move the supply and others are not okay with this. Many people go with about because you want to change it. And I think the burn mechanism is great idea, is good. But I think it's not enough. 10%, it's too much low, I guess, because you like everyone, I think, go as a rocket and how can I say, take many people, many users, many founders or developers into your blockchain, which is great. But now we have not much. You don't know how much will stay the bull run. Don't know where we go and when we will get an alt season. And on our side, we don't know much things. We know you want to raise some money, but we don't know how much, with who, when, etc. So it's difficult to say, okay, we will go high and price will grow, and it's okay, we can go more for the supply. But now it's just words and conversation. So I think it's why we need to make more for burn. And as some people said already, to take down the 90%, because I think it's too much. And maybe each year we can look on data on chain to set these numbers and make it grow or less, depending what's happened on the blockchain. And before my time ends up, I would like to say I hope you will get the USDC as a native token, because I think it's important for the truth of the people who want to invest and stay on MultiversX. I know you want to work on a stablecoin, but USDC is very powerful and it can be good. So
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you.
Yeah, Benjamin, 2 minutes or something as a response as well.
USDC is powerful. We want either USDC or the USDT, one of those. Second, we don't want to change actually the supply. We don't want to change anything except that it doesn't grow. So if it doesn't grow, we're actually forced to reconsider the assumptions that we hold very dear and that we prize. And it's very much like what Churchill said when he said democracy is the worst form of governance except for all the other ones. So it's not like this is the best tool. This is the least worst tool or least worst path. But if it works, it actually becomes great. And so the things that we're doing here are almost reasoning from the standpoint, not is this path where we're going great, but rather is the current path great? No, it's not. Are we super excited about where we are? We are technically, but has this been reflected in the economy? Not quite. So after several years of trying, we also are forced to actually look at the model and say, have we considered this? Have we considered this? And then reason specifically from growth. how do we unlock growth? What are the steps? How we do we do it methodically and step by step? So again, we are very much aligned in spirit there. And this moment in time is very much about feeling, seeing, analyzing where the markets are and seizing this opportunity for MultiversX, not because something is guaranteed, but because like when you have quote unquote nothing, if you just sit there, nothing will continue to be the result. But when you're there with some actions that are good, that are rooted in good strategy, very quickly you'll be able to discover some new insights, use them, leverage them, and bring new growth for the ecosystem. Even one stable coin linked from the two top in the world would instantly change how things happen in the ecosystem. Stopping here, but thanks a lot for the ideas.
Thanks, Benjamin. We'll also say one of the big requests that we saw on Pulse, if you don't know that tool, please check out pulse.multiversx.com, was to have some more projections, working on having those released as soon as possible as well, so you can actually see a bit of the modeling around all of that. Thank you so much, Pet Detective. Bringing up Andu from Project X.
Hello. Thank you for setting this up. I also think, like Joachim, that Discord is the best because they were electing presidents on Discord not too long ago. Just making sure you hear me, Lucas. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a bit about DAOs today and about the framework in general. We all know that DAOs work only if they are set up right, or actually, to frame it differently, DAOs don't actually work unless they are set up right. So the most question I've seen around the community are about the KPIs, the limits, the caps, who sets them, who are the members, who enforces the rules, who does the actions, and so on and so forth. So, in my opinion, this process cannot be rushed at all. And because we have the economics upgrade that requires actual dev time to be implemented, we should decouple the governance details from this economic proposal vote and schedule, in my opinion, a follow-up package of votes or a single vote with the exact numbers, with the KPI definitions, with DAO leaders, DAO roles, quorums, thresholds, voting power, voting windows, audits, and so on and so forth. So what I am proposing now is full focus on the economic direction and then separate vote or votes on the full DAO rulebook and framework before the streams from the buckets go live. It's very important that the framework it's set up right. That's all I have right now.
Awesome. I think makes a ton of sense. I don't think in the proposal there are any specific frameworks for the DAOs, so this seems very much aligned with what the proposal is doing. Definitely agree. Must be ensured that the DAOs are first well understood, how they're governed, etc. I think, Anu, just as a quick follow-up question, you do think vote can go forward that in principle DAOs will govern this fund, and then to of course like codify sort of like how the DAOs work internally. That is the secondary vote you're talking about.
Yeah, so the community should agree or disagree in this economic proposal that there will be a DAO that controls the flow of the money coming from inflation in the different buckets. And after this vote passes or fails, we get together again, we get the numbers, we get the rules, we get everything together. So we make sure that the DAO is set up right from the beginning. Because again, 99% of DAOs don't work. So it's pretty hard to get it right, but it's doable.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe Lucian, you can just give a quick yes or no. If this is changed.
No, I think again the point of the entire discussions here is again I'm just restating that it's having a lot of good effect. I love exactly this kind of input. I also agree to the fact that a lot of the stuff are still open, and that has been the last 48 hours alone has been a major clarification. Has brought a major clarification points or open to dos for us, which we're working on days and night, literally. Now, to coming closer to DAOs, fully agree that there's a lot more clarity needed, and I think this kind of stuff already unlocks. In principle, the entire movement. There will be a shit ton of work to put it. Sorry for my German, not saying French, because we have a lot of French here. But there's literally, I cannot stress how much time the implementation is gonna take. And then also, actually, this will give us a lot of. Thank you, Joachim. This will give us a lot of window to work on to and be smartly and also be mindful to the opportunity window that we're tackling. But very good points. And by the way, Andu, appreciate like the thoughtfulness and the rigorosity, how you're constantly bringing the last days. Appreciate the dedication and to everybody around.
Shout out to Andu. Thank you so much, Andu. We have another living legend on stage. Julian, how are you? And your comments, suggestions, ideas.
Hello, hello. Sorry
Julian.
if I cannot turn on my camera. My laptop it's almost crashed as always, and I hope you are hearing me. I don't know. I hope you are
Loud
hearing
and
me
clear, Julian.
loud.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, I've stuck the microphone inside my mouth so everyone can hear me well. Um, let's get to the point. It now crosses in my brain. Actually an idea to merge two aforementioned idea. One, that the developers rewards of 90% was too high and we need to lower that. And the second one, using the rewards as fees for the relay transactions. Why cannot do them both in one step? So as long as the contract receive transactions as relate transactions, it will get more and more percentage. So let's say we start with by 50%, and if there are a lot of transactions based on some metrics, um, the percentage will be increased automatically, 60%, 70%, up to 90%. So in that way, we will automatically reward those smart contracts that are using the relay transactions, and we actually force the smart contracts that are not using the relay transactions to burn more of the fees. So yeah, maybe a wild idea. It's rough, it's raw, but that one crosses my mind. Yeah,
Very
that's
good
about
point,
it.
by the way. Also, please, if. But no, let me. Yes, I very much agree. I think that there's a sweet spot. I think there's not quite just black and black. We are waiting for the PR, Julian. Yeah, he's writing. But no, very good idea. And then I also think that there's a sweet spot. Benny, I think there's a good point to give a share or equivalent on models of success where we saw this. Like who's for example, a company that does in Web2, just for people to benchmark a bit. Not sure if you want to mention maybe UiPath model or other models where they had the exceptional path of sales actually to drive up the demand and the usage.
So one simple idea here is this, that when you map the supply chain of one model and you see who's working and doing what and you have the full overview of the different actors that need to do something so that you succeed, some other ideas come to mind. And very concretely, one of the very maybe undertold stories is that when UiPath really took off and exploded around the world, they had a model where not only was their technology good, they were really great at sales, they were having a lot of partners doing enterprises and so on, but they designed a model that gave them 30% and their partners 70% of the new contracts. So that literally created out of their partners the best salesmen in the world. And all of a sudden you had Deloitte, you had Accenture, you had like all these big guys spending much more energy on selling the solutions of UiPath than almost anyone. Why? Because it was like printing money for them better than whatever else they could sell. So thinking about models like that incentivize the partner, incentivize the builder, incentivize the different parties to actually bring companies here. That was the fees was one thing, but we also had another crazy idea a few years back that we, I think, never implemented, that you could actually bring companies. And then we thought, how could you bring companies on chain and get income from whatever they bring? And the idea was, for the smart contracts that you deploy, you should have a special function where you almost put a referral person. And that referral person gets a royalty fee from the smart contracts, irrespective of what's being built and so on. But that was just, these are just two specific examples that open up a broader idea of how you create from the actors that are there with you the best salesmen, the best growth agents for you. Once you start thinking about this, all of a sudden you can come up with some ideas that are very, very interesting. Stopping here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julian. Absolute legend, one of the first developers at MultiversX, still very much involved. Also passing it over to another legend, very much involved, sometimes hosts or often always hosts the validator call. So I'm sure you'll have some input.
Welcome home, how you would
front.
say.
Welcome back to the stage. Eddie, how are you?
Hey guys, good to be here. Can you hear me? Yeah,
loud and clear.
Sorry I couldn't join in the beginning. Meetings overloaded and on top of each other. I wish I could be a very smart guy with a huge experience in this field and bring some wise advice that you guys will say, wow, this is great. Unfortunately, I'm not that person. However, to me, doing nothing is the shortest way to failure. Actually, if you see the state we are in right now, taking no action is the easy way out. Staying on the sidelines, hiding, not doing interviews, not responding to critics, just doing nothing is the safest bet to failure. So we have to do something. Is this the best proposal for the ecosystem in this moment? It's the one we have. Like I said, I wish I could have a magic ball and say, okay, this is going to be fantastic. It's 100% it's going to blow up. Or I don't have that. Do I have maybe some doubts with the percentages? Yes, those can be tweaked. However, I think it's a no-brainer. We have to do this. And if we're going to adjust something here or there based on arguments, based on models, prediction, and stuff like that, I think just the fact that the team has put together these 2 weeks of sessions, I mean, speaks a whole lot of their intent of it's not pleasing everybody, but finding the best solution. And this is something that you don't really see in this space. Hey, we have this ecosystem. Let's make the most of it. Let's give it a chance to thrive. And I think we should acknowledge that. The least thing we can do is acknowledge that, right? We have the chance to improve this. We have the chance to give it a chance to thrive. Let's do that. Let's move these mountains that we think, right? These are mountains that are pressing us down. Let's move them. Let's change the narrative. Let's flip the pancake. Let's change something. Let's make this explode. So the team's availability to spend hours and hours, and I see these guys. I mean, they are in a call, and then 2 minutes later, hey, we're jumping in a different call, and it's probably I don't even want to say, it's unthinkable. It's not a way of life. After these 2 weeks, they will. I don't know how their immunity systems will hold up, but all in all, I think we have a new chance, right, of moving things forward. So on my to-do list on this week is to come up with better alternatives if I can find something. Come up with something that is backed up by arguments, not just feelings. So that's my intervention for today, and thank you all for being here.
Good to have you with us, Eddie. And as the generals in Roman armies would say, it's not the army you wished you had, but the army you have. So let's fucking go to war.
100%.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for everything you do. Looking forward to the proposals. Because again, just a reminder at this stage, right? Tomorrow and Thursday are entirely dedicated to talking through the proposal as it is, or as it will be tomorrow, in a back and forth in focused discussions. Have about 2 hours for each of the sections to hear everybody out on these proposals or these sections specifically. Thank you so much, Eddie. Bringing up somebody who's already suggested a bunch of things and made a bunch of proposals. Feel free to share whatever you'd like today. Mihai, how are you?
For real, that's my only intro. That's all what I did for this chain. Anyway, I was waiting for you. Everyone was like, "So huge job, Mihai did that." Nice, fine, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I proposed already what I had in mind. Of course, I have multiple other little stuff, but irrelevant in the grand scheme. Let's call it that way. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and scheme. I see this a lot
Let's
in the
call
community.
it grand scheme, not grand scam. Thank you.
Everyone understands what they understood. Yeah. So overall, I guess in the community, what I saw, everyone focus on the little parts, which is like unimportant for me. It's like, when you overthink too much, you lose the main essence of it's either this or we die. So when you resume to only 2 parts, the choice is much easier to take. So yeah, my role unrelated to the voting if it's passing or not would be to just think of what, let's say, token engineering we could do in DeFi to first see what's missing from our ecosystem, because there are some protocols that are missing in DeFi, and we're talking here about like perps, we're talking about index tokens like Jupiter, that's a basket of tokens and all this stuff. So there are some things that let's say big players, institutions and so on are using to leverage all this inflation and so on. So we have to prepare that, and yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Great. That gives me 1 minute and 13 seconds to talk about all of your accomplishments. Or we pass it to a new guest. How are you guys?
He doesn't have a word yet, but he'll listen very attentively.
Very nice. Yeah, Mihai, greatly appreciate the input. I'll just use
better than 99% of the people on X. They should also listen when they don't want to talk.
This is also something, a reminder, right? There's all kinds of feedback reaching us so far, and there's articles, there are the posts, ideas, there's the feedback form. I'll try to share that in the chat here, and I think we'll probably put it on the website if it's not there. But please do come with suggestions, think through it, model some stuff yourself. You know, if you have a particular expertise in that field, in some field, please make sure you use it and bring it to the table. Lucian.
Yes, I just want to stress and use the 3 seconds too. My time is out. Sorry. No, actually just putting it out. If I look and read the progress made the last 48 hours and how actually the numbers are coming down because people want to hear it and see how the numbers will come down, again, we just give us a bit of time to put together the merge the pull request, so to say. Again, the team is doing an amazing effort actually centralizing and collecting all the stuff. And again, I think we have that there should be a clear definition of some sort of a stimulus momentum, and then everything else post stimulus that would literally readjust and will drive down and actually almost disappear if there's no need for that. That's the simplest point, and this is just not translated yet or put yet out there. But we're working on it, and that would actually just solve most of the stuff. I think the biggest or 90% of the most pressing problems will be addressed that way. And it was just, again, a result that Agora is working on all fronts, and we're progressing, marching towards a very good state of things. Thank you, Mihai, by the way. I said nothing on what you said, but just use your time.
Yeah, thanks again.
Subject.
Well, right now I don't see any requests. I actually invited some people on stage that might have something to share. But yeah, again, this is an open invitation for people to come up, use 3 minutes wisely, and say something about their ideas, suggestions, etc. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't really take proper time to welcome Mihai Shkiopu and Andre to the stage. Maybe some quick thoughts while we wait for people to request on where we stand right now, how you see the process progressing. I'll start with Andre.
Hello. Welcome, and thanks for taking your time to be here with us. I see there's a lot of very nice discussions. I see since you're builders, you obviously gravitated towards the most builder-centric proposal that we had with the one with the 90% fees. I'm actually a very big proponent of that. I find it a very, very nice and very easy way for small projects to have a monetization, like a revenue stream, without giving it too much thought. But yeah, I understand that people think mostly in terms of the larger protocols, the whole dApp, the whole thing. Yeah, and what I have to say to that is we'll have to think about it, but the fact that we have relay transactions and the fact that probably more and more larger dApps and larger protocols will employ this, at the very least, to have some promotional onboarding for new users. Yeah, that's definitely one side of the story I think it's important. And I think the fact that they will have 90% of the transaction fees is like them getting back 90% of what they're spending with these new users. That's how I see it, at least now, but we'll have to see how it works. And I'm very happy that you have feedback on that. And that, yeah. I think maybe also one of the reasons why people might be upset about it is because they think it feeds too much into inflation. I don't think it does so very much, because still our adoption is pretty low. So I don't think there's actually, for now, at least in the short term, I don't think there will be so many transaction fees to make a difference. I think it's mostly something that is very useful for small builders and small projects. Whereas I think the big money is somewhere else. But yeah, I'm glad that you're taking interest in this.
Awesome. Thank you, Andre. I'll pass it to you, Mr. Schkipel.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see so many familiar faces here in the audience. It's very interesting to see this and to take this as a wake-up call from the entire community. And I'm so happy to see great ideas. Some of them we thought about, but we did not integrate just because we were thinking that probably it would not fit into the entire scheme. But now, given the interest from the community, definitely, as Lucian also already said, in the last 48 hours, we've learned so much, and the things are looking that the path goes in the right way. And I believe this is very important, the time that we have for debating, given the actual, let's say, schedule is getting shorter. So it's very important for everyone to get more involved and to participate in the forum meetups that we have, or Foundry sessions, just because this is the spirit, the actual spirit of blockchain. I mean, I'm curious, when you first joined, like you thought joining a blockchain ecosystem, you thought about the fact that there's a community, and that together with the community, you can build a voice, and then with that voice, build something greater. And this is what it's actually happening. So we are, let's say, living the very specific manifesto of blockchain. And as I said, also the past sessions, I'm very much taking notes, notarizing everything, running simulation scenarios. Definitely, we have to show the scenario simulator, to say so that people can also better understand probably what we are talking about, the numbers behind the proposals.
Great. Thank you so much. I will say, so invited some people to the stage. If we can actually close early and get back to work, that is not a bad thing at all. Do want to make sure we give maybe a few more minutes for people to actually request. Yeah, the stage will be yours. But then maybe we'll just start wrapping it up. Have a special guest here. Foundry, the on-chain detective, is here. Welcome to the stage, and let us know your thoughts.
Hi everyone. Do you hear me well? Yeah.
Can you turn your mic a bit louder? Is there any chance?
Get
or
closer.
I will try. Is it better like this?
You're coming
Perfect.
closer. Yes, already better.
Okay. So yeah, sorry to didn't have the time to participate the last 4 days about this. So I coming with let's say a full article very soon about, let's say, almost all the part of the governance proposal. And here I think I will talk about one point that I think is missing, is to push, I think, the community to run more nodes. We have a lot of, let's say, a lot of the stake actually that is only, let's say, delegated through staking provider. And I believe we could have a lot more people running nodes on their own. And one of the thing that is maybe slowing down that kind of ecosystemic push we could have is maybe lowering the necessary amount to have a delegation smart contract. But instead of having 1,250 EGLD in requirement, to lower it, but having it, let's say, for example, I don't know, 200 EGLD, but per node instead of per smart contract. It will lower a lot the cost for running a node and enable everyone to, let's say, try to acquire delegation to liquid staking or to other kind of businesses, a contract, or just building it with friend. And I think it's that kind of movement you need also to reignite a community. It's important to, let's say, have a very to be, let's say, sovereign on our own infrastructure regarding this, because we don't want to have only big staking provider like exchange that own most of the delegation or are be ranked in the biggest delegators forever, I think. So that's it.
One.
Yeah.
No, sorry, please.
No, I will say that I have other idea regarding, for example, the tail inflation. I think we should frame it instead of having this 9.57, I think, upper for the first year, just mint all the EGLD remaining to reach the R cap. And then let us, I would say 1 year, but we can go faster to decide what will be the tail inflation model. Like that, we can take the time to do the good research and having a good model and not rush it. So it will have the same effect. We will have 2.8 million EGLD available to do the exact same thing that we have in the proposal right now. And then we can build a good model for the long tail inflation and long-term security budget about the inflation.
Very interesting approach, by the way, and very out of the box. I already, by the way, pinged for as a disclaimer, pinged Foodler myself as I was worried. Why does he not posted yet anything? So actually, before this call, just wanted to make sure that he's alive and he's working on it. Uh, Second, curious, how do you see this in the order of or in the relevance of attracting new capital and especially attracting more delegation and participation? How would this then be prioritized with the APRs needed for the participants? Like, what's the order on your head, just in short, like high level? What would you tackle first, and how would that translate to?
So to attract new capital in delegation, you mean?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Because so on the one hand, what I wanted to say here is we also don't want to delay this too much. Like if we miss the opportunity, then pretty much it's we lost the train. Like we can go in the next bear cycle, so to say, to give everything, but there will be nobody asking for it or wanting it.
Yeah, I understand. I think if we want to move fast on that, let's say the biggest bucket we can attack now is the idle EGLD on exchange right now. I think regarding, let's say, my own estimation, we have almost 9.5 million EGLD that sit on exchange treasury. We don't know exactly how much is really owned by user, market makers, or exchange themselves, but we have, let's say, a lot of EGLD that can be easily attract, I think, with, let's say, yeah, new subsidies in the staking reward and etc. And also with this kind of new DeFi fund that will enable to make DeFi more productive for some time. So yeah, I will put that first, and yeah, almost try to push just after or in the same time. Already that with all the people that believe in the chain and that want to work with the chain, to try to run a node themselves. It's not. I don't think it's not that complicated. We can, I think, lower the barrier a lot, like what Columbia Staking proposed to have already little machine that can be sold for a few $100, and having maybe let's say stacking wise people to help a lot of people to build their own or to run their own with redundancy and all that stuff. So I think it's something very possible, and a lot of people here could run a node and don't think about it because it's a bit too costly today. It's almost $20,000 in stake required to do it if you want to open a delegation contract.
Agree. Maybe just to build on top of that, one interesting point. I'm not sure if you followed the proposal from Claudio Laterezzo. So he mentioned one thing. So first, as a business or as a builder, you first care about the making your application sustainable, but then you also care about the longevity and also making sure that that kind of income stream remains as alive as long as possible and operates. And the only or the most direct way to get to that would be actually to make sure that you participate in the underneath infrastructure, and you make sure that you have your core contribution to make sure that the system is running. And the way to do that is actually running validators or nodes. Now, on top of that, if I look, for example, on a bit on different ecosystem, what I wanted to, and maybe I think there should be a built again in the new proposal, even though there are in many cases games that are being built on top of the blockchains, or almost anything that has a function of keeping or collecting idle EGLD or native currency. What if this by default is being actually implemented, that even if you're a game and you collect and you have an idle capital that is sitting free floating, you could by default actually also have a combination where this capital is being staked natively or liquid staked or just operator on validator underneath with that, because there's very little or close to zero risk on that, and actually just increases your profitability of an application. So actually, I think with a good program on that, we can already achieve, and then also happy also to explore a bit the changes on the node price. Indeed, I think it's good to be flagged, and we would definitely just start the thread on this in parallel to explore. But I don't think is limiting actually right now, particularly the parameters of what the main goal of this is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Foudre. Looking forward to the full document to be shared. Make sure it's soon, and bring it up. And also very happy to welcome another Frenchman to the stage. You've been missed, Arnaud. How are you? And what do you want to say here?
Hey, Lucas. Hey, everyone. Do you hear me well?
Loud and clear.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to be part of all those great conversations a bit earlier, but I've been following them from a distance, and I can see that there's an incredible effort to craft something new. Very similar to Eddie, I am going to disappoint everybody if you think that you're going to get a magical insight on the proposal out of me. But what I can say is ultimately, to grow, we need to provide an edge to everybody that is using the chain. What I mean in here is, for example, the company that I joined. So it's a computer vision company. And the cool thing is that today, because we distribute the compute through blockchain, I can sell for free the first 3 months of our product because we're actually making money thanks to an incentivization system built by the chain. and I'm selling to Web2 products, Web2 companies. They don't even know that we're using blockchain. It's just that we have an edge as a company building and leveraging blockchain infrastructure to distribute the compute. And we're incentivized because we're bringing computing missions to miners and validators. And so in here, it means that AI companies using this blockchain have an edge. And it's baked into the system, which is absolutely amazing. So how can we on MultiversX create edges for users, for builders, for multiple actors who are going to take part from directly, indirectly? Because once you have this, you're excited about everything you do, because you believe that everything you do, you have an advantage. And this is just why people do things. It's not magical. When you go in blockchain events or anywhere in life and you talk entrepreneurship, everybody is here thinking, what's in it for me? And if you find a way to build things so that there is things for the person who is coming to you and things for you at the same time, then magic happens. So I have full belief in you guys, because you are making the hardcore, you're going through the hardcore process of building something, a new incentive system for tomorrow's world. I also believe that we need to factor in that there's AI now, and so it's a different world. So the building loop is going quicker and quicker and quicker. So we're going to see more adoption on blockchain, more products on blockchain. So this has to be factored in. But yeah, that's my take.
Thanks a lot, Arno. Growth is what I hear. We have a new guest. Look, the whole army is here.
Maybe just one point to Arno's comment. Curious, by the way, Arno, if you followed exactly the intro, I assume not, but maybe if you can just tune back at the very beginning of the session, I explained exactly the case with the Amazon services, and actually the way you assume that we already have the infrastructure running, and there are two. In one case we don't have the incentives, and in one you place the incentive, you place the bets, give the advantage to the builders, and then after that year you can start measuring growth, you can start monetize, you can start actually just growing and just make the product being useful and being actually integrated and spread everywhere. And then yes, step by step, that's actually how you. But again, just invite, and by the way, also waiting to come. Yeah, and then also please, if you have a good proposal that you think we can build on top of that, just a good program for that, because you already know the ecosystem pretty well. We love actually to have you, especially on that, with me.
Arno, good to hear the thoughts.
Thanks so much, Arno.
And to see you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
We'll chat very soon. Have another person to bring up on stage. Now the whole Haddam gang is here. What's up, Ahmed? And welcome to the stage.
Hey, hi everyone, and yeah, happy to see everyone reunited, or let's say united here, and discussing different ideas and trying to push things forward actually. So I would say that from my point of view, I believe change is necessary if we truly want to enter a new phase of growth and make meaningful progress. I went through the entire proposal, and it's quite a dense one with a lot of ideas, topics, and implementations points being discussed. What I really appreciated lately is that Robert also started sharing concrete projections and metrics to help the community visualize the actual impact multiple points on this proposal could have on the ecosystem, and that level of transparency was something we were missing at the beginning on the proposal. We've been discussing this proposal internally, actually with the whole Hatam team, and overall, we believe that many points do make sense. Of course, like there might be a few areas to fine tune to ensure that value flows back effectively into the ecosystem, but the direction looks good. I personally like support most of what has been proposed. So from the increase in staking rewards to the grants for builders, the DeFi incentives, and the strategic capital allocation for DAT, the ETF, and so on. But I believe that each point might need a couple of tweaking and adjustments. So we've also had like some really great discussions with Foundry, who came up with some great optimizations and new ideas for the current structure. He would be sharing his thoughts soon in an article, and like I have to say that I do agree with most of them, actually.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll remind you and everybody else, and Foudre again. Tomorrow we'll actually start going section by section, very much welcoming all the improvements and tweaks that people come up with. Very much designed to actually do this today. Obviously, hearing some general feedback and maybe some concerns or suggestions, ideas that people have. But again, tomorrow and the day after, 2 full days to do basically nothing else than talk about the proposals section by section, and come up with great ideas. So great to hear that you're generally happy with it. Anything else you want to add, Ahmed, or will we see you tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. Like we'll be there tomorrow, and yeah, what I can say is it's a tough period, but I do believe that the future like will be promising. We have like the right people around us to make sure that this will happen.
And we have all the materials underneath, so it's a pity not. Again, I'm just putting it very personal. If we don't make it, this is on us. This is there's we. I think the primitives are there. There's almost everything prepared. Now let's just open the gates and let the flood run through those this infrastructure.
Totally. Growth phase. Growth phase.
Growth phase.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Ahmed. I don't see anybody else requesting, and nobody's taking the bait on it. And we're coming up a little bit on 2 hours. And also, Benjamin apparently lost his power, so we've probably lost him for the rest of the session. Yeah, unless anybody else wants to add anything, I'll maybe kick it around to Andre and Mr. Mihai, and then Mr. Lucian to say some closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up and get back to working on the proposal. Don't know in which direction we want to go. We'll close with Lucian, but maybe we'll start with Mihai this time, and then Andre.
Great. We have a lot of work to do. So, as you said, let's get back to work. As always, we are on all channels or everywhere where you have. If you have questions, we're everywhere to answer them. You can come and step up and talk in these kind of discussions. We are more than happy to listen and to take note of the suggestions and to see, as I already said before, to see how we can implement them. I think that's all. Be as active and contribute as much as you can. That really helps.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas. It's important for us to make this ecosystem work. Again, yes, I have to reiterate, we're here for you, especially. We're building the tools for you. You're the main users, you're our main customers. So do please ask more of us, ask whatever you need. We are willing to do releases for you and features for you if you need them. Yeah, keep building. Also, don't forget to check out pulse.multiversx.com. It's really fun. Yeah, some of you, I suppose, have enough voting power to get some ideas straight to the top. So I'm curious to seeing some of them.
Awesome.
I have maybe I'll propose maybe to other builders. I'm not sure if they want to maybe, but curious actually also from the Claudio, maybe if you want to come on stage. Curious if you want to share. I think by the way your article was pretty great. If you're here, we can bring you up onto the stage. Sorry for actually, but again, there are three people that I think they're very valuable that could share a bit
I
of their
pinged him on
thoughts.
Slack. I haven't been successful so far to get him up here.
Here, invite.
Oh, now there he is. Okay, great.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Just 1 second to turn on my camera. Cool. Yeah. So, to be honest, I didn't want to come on stage. I was discussing it with Lucas on Slack. It's because I wanted to hear more on our community and what are their thoughts. But at least that I'm here. So a few things from my side. I do think that I am agree with a lot of those things that are already discussed, even with and with what Fude said and what you Lucian was discussing about and what I was writing is just the technology is here, the blockchain. So the thing that this can bring to everybody that is building something is to think about what value it brings to the project or to the product that you are building upon on. So this is one thing. So as soon as you understand that this blockchain technology brings value to you, and you choose the one on or another blockchain to integrate for the value that is adding to you and for your users, it becomes obvious that you want to keep it running as much as possible. So it is the obvious thing that as long as you do have a project in here, it becomes obvious to have also a validator, just because you want to keep the the things up and running for at least for your side. And the thing that thinking that this might be something like, I don't know, AWS or Google, in which you get to have a stake to run some of your own data center, or your very small data center in which you put your data in there. I think it's something that it hasn't been seen in everything else. So you do have the possibility to have your stake in here. For the proposal and how I see it right now, I do think it's very good for the to move it forward. So I've been discussing with Lucian in the weekend a few times ago. There is one thing that I would think about. I have 30 seconds left. How can we leverage on how we haven't, what it's leveraging the time? We can just move with the things that we have right now, and for the time being, we do hope that we can work with the things that we have. But leveraging, it's what I do think it's is the thing that we are doing right now, bringing time for us and squeezing the time, maybe 10x or 100x for what it's come for us. Time's up.
Thanks for adhering to the timer, and thanks again. A great article. Please keep contributing in the same way. We'll see you tomorrow for sure in those forums. I'll pass it maybe to one of the last speakers, with Micha. How are you? And what would you like to contribute today?
Hey guys, doing good. Good to see all these discussions here. I have to say, I just accepted the invite here. I had to leave after 10 minutes of this meeting and just came back 5 minutes ago. Need to re-listen to the entire recording later. But whoever requested, maybe I don't want to repeat any topics that have been touched on today already. Maybe do you have any proposals, private proposals that are sent to you that haven't been touched on yet?
I think, yeah, I think yours that you submitted yesterday hasn't been discussed here today. If you want to give some of the ideas there, yeah.
I did submit a bunch of, but there's one topic that has been lingering on my mind, which is that we are mixing basically what the protocol's responsibility is with the application layer, meaning that currently there are a lot of strategies outlined in the draft that would usually concern what should be only on the application side, meaning the DeFi strategies and all this. And I think mixing this can create quite a bunch of confusion. It has created a lot of complexity already. And it would serve us, I think, better if we extracted this into a separate proposal. And I'm specifically targeting what is the Builders Fund and the DeFi incentives there into potentially what could be a single DAO or that operates under its complete own governance that is separated from the protocol. Because long term, if we mix these concepts, I think that whenever we want to do changes on that front, it's not entirely clear if these should now be handled on the whole MultiversX protocol side, or where is this being handled? And it's also not missing a lot of strategies, like what are the details of the governance happening there, right? So I think extracting this into a separate proposal, a separate DAO, maybe even just one DAO, could make a lot of sense so that we have more clarity there. And then we can, of course, also go a lot more into details of what the separate DAO is about, right? Like who is involved in the governance, what are the dynamics there. And yeah, I propose this as the name MultiversX Accelerated DAO. I think Justin mentioned some concept like this too. A few other builders have mentioned that this could be an interesting way to go forward.
100%. Just to catch you up, we did have some discussion on the DAO and the let's say intricacies of the governance there. Andu brought that up, and yeah, basically the conclusion there was yes, the DAO inception can be voted on with this proposal, as it basically just concerns proceeds from the emissions, right? And then definitely forking, let's say, the vote on the specifics on how these DAOs are governed, how they're set up, to a different discussion. Because as you were saying, to make sure that they're working and they're actually serving the purpose and function that they're designed to serve, it's another very intricate process that I don't think necessarily even belongs into an economic discussion. And yeah, I hope I didn't say anything wrong there, Lucian and Ben, you mean? But that's what I got so far. And definitely a great point there. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe one point. I know where the pattern comes from, and especially in developers, in engineering worlds, you don't want to mix the layers in any form. The less complexity you have, and this is a principle that actually I very much respect. So building on that, first, I do think that it adds complexity at the an overhead at the operational level, and it mixes. However, I do believe that this is not the value here is actually being able to unify and vertically integrate this and treat this as a unified platform, as an ecosystem, and not be actually purely only at the block space. Discuss only about just native block space and filling that empty block boxes, right? So I think again, just on the one hand, even though I tend to agree and I would prefer not to, I think there's an alpha or there's a superior outcome if we manage to do this in a very efficient way. And also, yes, simplicity is key. Then that translates also to the governing process, and I think that there's already progress on that we'll discuss tomorrow, step by step on each of the points. Mika, thanks a lot.
Yes,
just a very short comment.
On this. Just very quickly, a very good catch on this technical aspect here. Yeah, as I understand, tomorrow we'll look over section by section, and yeah, very much looking forward to this session.
Amazing, Mika. Love it.
Just a very short 5-second comment on that. We're basically what we're proposing is dependency inversion or a protocol level plugin system. So these DAOs are basically plugins. We want to do stuff that can be configured later via governance. So it's basically plugins.
Yeah, I think a good way to think about it, if you're nerdy enough. I love it. Thank you, everybody. I think now. Thank you so much, Micha. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. If Benjamin is still around, I'll pass it to him and Lucien, and then I'll give another quick preview of the proceedings in the next 2 or 3 days, and then we'll wrap it up and get back to improving the proposal. Whoever wants to start, Lucien or Benjamin.
I'm actually just waiting for another guest. We have another builder just coming up. It's late. If
Okay.
please allow me to
Good.
give
All right.
you my. If this is, I think builders.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Just waiting 60 seconds now.
Also, if Ovidiu Popica wants to drop some notes and some alpha, he has had really great progress with what they're doing. So Veropay has been making rounds. So Ovidiu, feel free if you want to add any thoughts.
Definitely shout out to Video in the crowd there, building some great things, having some real life impact, basically handling transparency in the payment sector, and having some real great success in at various real life events. Yeah, so shout out to Video even if you're not coming up. Lucien, who did you nominate to come up, and are they in the crowd already?
Let me see just a second if I can find him in the list. Longin, I think he should be here. Here I found him. Invite to speak. Amazing.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
GM.
How are you? Everything is fine?
Yes. Very intense here. Curious, how are you, Longin?
Yeah, I'm okay. Working hard, to be honest with you. I basically I'm trying to launch the new option for Wandex, the CLMMM, concentrate liquidity. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Maybe just to bring you back to the discussion, we were sharing a bit the feedback, and we're just actually wrapping up. Curious if you have managed to have a look over the proposal, how you feel about it. Maybe Lucas, if you want to guide this as well, feel free to.
Hi, Lucas.
Yeah.
I think basically. I know about the proposal. I know that it's a lot of negativity around the proposal, but to be honest with you, after I read it like almost everything, let's say like that, I believe that if it's for the good of the MultiversX, from my point of view, it's okay. It's very important, because I listened to the space that you did yesterday with Benny, and it's very important. I like it. I mean, the ideas are great, in my opinion. If you manage somehow to solve everything that you said, in my opinion, my feedback is okay. What I can say, for example, what I will add, let's say a feedback for the new tokenomics, I will add the idea of because people understood that the supply will be infinite, let's say like that, and I believe if let's say the chain will manage to sustain from the fees, to don't have a mint or something like that. And I think this can be possible, and why not?
Amazing. London, I think exactly those points we were discussing, that a lot of that came already the last days, and we collected, and we are working on an improvement proposal which differentiate the stimulus year or the stimulus
And I
moment.
believe
Yes.
I also believe that you need to explain, for example, what you explained yesterday, because I wasn't here online from the beginning. I believe you need to explain everything again. To it's very good for the investors to understand why you will change the tokenomics, and let's
Fully
hope
agree.
that
Tomorrow,
I'm here for adoption. If the adoption will come, you can do whatever you want.
amazing, amazing. So I think uh, in short, tomorrow we are having another session, full step by step on each of the points, and I think that will clarify again, and will reiterate and integrate pretty much all the feedback. We'll try to cover as much as possible on each of the points until we reach a conclusion. Until for another week, or almost a week or so. So yeah, thanks a lot, Longin.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for the feedback. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Lucian, do you want to start walking us out here?
Yes. I mean, again, great feedback. I wonder what took us so long to get to this point to do it like this. It's on the one hand an intense effort, but on the other hand, I see it and literally appreciate how much effort and how much attention everybody gives to make sure that this becomes and has the momentum it needs. And I think in my simple modeling, and in a way that I have always perceived things that tend to work, they always get very intense. And wherever attention is being put and effort is being put into, with the right people, things tend to improve very fast. And for what I've seen, especially from Elrond to MultiversX times, things can move very fast, and this is why we're here. Happy to actually integrate everything, and looking forward for tomorrow's session as well.
Awesome. Benjamin, can you connect, or is the power down? Last words?
No, power is back up. Great to hear the feedback. Great to hear the thoughts. It's forward from here, upward from here, in the sense of making progress and integrating it. I think if people look even from Friday and until today, quite a lot of people have gotten the idea, have looked at what it takes, and so on. And I expect, of course, to have battles every day, but we're here just to make it happen, bring it across the line one step at a time, because there is no other path for good growth. If we can have it, then we want to take it. So whoever finds better paths, we want to take a look at it. And this is why we're having this conversation, to hear your thoughts, perspectives, and see that we really make progress in the thing that really matters for the ecosystem. So thanks a lot, guys, and see you on the other side tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and so on, until we reach a good conclusion that moves us forward. Have a good one. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let me just remind people quickly the schedule one more time. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. we start the first forum on specifically the new emissions model. Then in the afternoon, or afternoon UTC, the value accrual flywheel. So going section by section. On the following day, we'll have the other two sections, Catalyst for Growth and the RSI strategy. Very much looking forward to your input on each of these sections. Trying to have a very structured debate. We'll share the details on that. Basically, very similar to this one. Time limit. Bring your ideas. Come with proposals. Come with improvements. And we'll see how we can implement everything and make this proposal even better. So thank you again for all your time and efforts and pushing so hard every day. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the other side. For now, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.